Senator Greg Clausen, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for the invitation.
Senator, I want to begin with, this was your first attempt at statewide office. Why the Minnesota Senate? What precipitated your decision to run?
Well, I've always been interested in public affairs. My background is in education. I recently retired in 2008 from being a high school principal, and I finally had time to kind of do a few things that I've been thinking about in my life, and I thought now was the time to enter into politics.
Well, many would decide to go fishing or go do something more recreational. What was it that really drew you to public office? You can still like public affairs, but that doesn't necessarily draw you to running for office.
You know, as an educator, I always viewed my life as a life of service, and so moving into the Senate is just a continuation of my life's work.
Let's talk a little bit about your time in schools, with more than 4 decades in the public school system. Yes. As you said, principal of Rosemount High School. What specific skills and issues do you bring to the Senate based on your prior life, your prior experiences? Well,
a life spent in education, certainly. But beyond that, I think as an educator, it's a people business. So you're always working with people, you're trying to bring people together, trying to formulate problem solving. So I think that's a big skill set that I bring to the Senate. And as I mentioned, just my background in education and educational issues.
And you were a principal during some kind of tumultuous times with within the public school system. We had No Child Left Behind. There were just a lot of different programs implemented statewide and federally. Did any of those come into your decision to run for office? Were there issues that you thought could be challenged or fixed, for lack of a better word, here within the state?
I wouldn't say that any specific thing drove me, but we certainly had discussions with the testing system in Minnesota amongst colleagues, system principals I worked with, and we would frequently talk about, we think there's a better way. So, that certainly is one of the things that we'll be working on here in the Senate and the legislature.
And as a former principal, what do you think is a better way?
Well, I think you need to look at individual student growth over time on a yearly basis. Versus testing a group of students and comparing that group to the previous group. So I think it's very important that you look at individual student growth, and that student is always progressing.
Let's talk a little bit about your bill for all-day kindergarten, state-funded. Why did you choose this as your, I don't know if I want to say signature legislation, but your first piece of, definitely first piece of legislation that drew a lot of media attention?
Well, when I was campaigning, I always said that education is really the infrastructure that drives the Minnesota economy, and I truly believe that. And I think we need to start with some of the statistics we've seen, graduation rates, students leaving high school without the skills that employers need. I think that we need to take a look at how we're preparing students. And there's been a lot of studies that have been done about all-day kindergarten, all-year kindergarten, and the importance of getting a good foundation for later learning in academics and reading. And so I thought that was a good place to start.
Can the state afford it?
Well, that's to be seen. Another thing I said while campaigning was that I think this legislative session is going to be all about priorities. And the things that are really important to us, the things that we value, that we need to understand that comes with a price. And we have to analyze those things and ask ourselves, what's going to be best for the people of Minnesota? What's going to move Minnesota forward in the years ahead? All-day kindergarten is one of the things that I think is important.
Senator, you're a freshman here in the Senate, and yet you're not moving at typical freshman pace. Why'd you come out of the gate so strongly with legislation already? What precipitated your decision to move forward quickly?
Well, that's a good question. It's something that I've been thinking about. It's something that's important in talking with the leadership in the Senate and leadership with colleagues in the House. It was something that we felt was important to get out there as a signature issue.
Well, Senator Clausen, you've had a little bit of time to get into the swing of things here. What's your impression of the Senate overall?
I've always viewed myself as a lifelong learner, and the thing that I am amazed at in some ways is the number of learning opportunities, let's say. I'm learning about things that I've really not had a lot of contact with, and I enjoy that. Learning about different industries, different issues, getting a perspective. So that's been very enjoyable. The schedule is very hectic, moving from one meeting to another, evening events, making sure we're contacting constituents. So it's a very busy schedule. But
Any big surprises so far?
not really. You know, it's the first time I guess I kind of take it day by day. I haven't had a lot of previous expectations as you're going through the process, and so it's every day is a new challenge, a new adventure, a new opportunity.
Okay, Senator Greg Clausen, thank you for your time today. I'm sure we'll get you back on the Capitol Report set soon to talk about some legislation. We appreciate it.
Thank you.